Thank you for staying with us on the program Good Morning Abuja on NTA Channel 5. On another conversation this morning on the program, we shall be bringing on board Aisha Adaviruku, who is the founder and CEO Master Coach Hope. And our topic of discussion on this conversation, it has to do with how to build on mental capital. Join me as I welcome Aisha to the program. Good morning. Good to have you here, and you're looking good.
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you for having me.
All right. Now, let's start our conversation. What is mental capital?
Mental capital is a very interesting term, and it was introduced by a psychologist, Loksang. It has to do with us as individuals, our ability to build our cognitive and emotional resources. When we talk cognitive, we're talking about our thinking resources.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, that's as simple as that.
Yes.
Okay. Now, why do we need to build mental capital? Why?
Okay, because as we go through life, we need to have, good thinking skills. When we encounter each experience in life, we need to have good thinking skills. We also need to be able to, irrespective of what's happening at the thought level, be able to master our emotions, because we human beings were emotional beings. And there is actually a term, TFA, thought, feelings, action. Okay. So our thoughts drive our feelings, and our feelings drive our actions. Take, for instance, if you want to buy something, do you buy it from the angle of, thinking about it, or you allow your emotions rule you, right? Okay. Sometimes there has to be a balance. But more importantly, we are highly emotional beings, and we need to be able to master emotions, to be able to form lifelong habits that support our dreams and goals, our positive dreams and goals. Because when we talk about mental capital, we have positive mental capital and we have negative mental capital. So, there is a wise man said something. He said, take care of your thoughts, for they become your words. Take care of your words, for they become your action. Take care of your actions, for they become your destiny. So our habits over time dovetail into who we are as individuals. Okay. But if we're able to build on our cognitive resources, that's our thinking resources, and also be able to master our emotions, which is our emotional resources, we're more likely to pursue dreams and goals that serve our highest purpose as human beings on earth.
At what point will I know that what I'm thinking is tailoring towards the positive aspect, and the one I'm thinking is the negative one? In this case now, how do we differentiate, the positive and the negative? Because in this climb, everybody is like, not everybody, but most people think what they are doing is right and what Mr. B is doing is wrong.
Yes, that's why it's important to engage in lifelong learning. When we pursue the right kind of knowledge, we're able to understand that, yes, this is right and this is wrong. Now, if you pursue a course of action and that's why we call it cognitive thinking. You are supposed to think of whatever action you want to take, in the short, medium, and long term. Does this benefit me? Does this benefit you? Does it benefit other people? And this also ties to mental health. Okay. Mental health is your ability as an individual to be able to cope with the normal stresses of life, to be able to pursue your potentials and benefit yourself and others. That's WHO defines mental health as this. Your ability to cope, because life has stress, yes. It's your ability to cope with those minor stressors. When you're with your family members, when you're with your colleagues in the office, your ability to resolve conflicts without violence, your ability to resolve conflicts without, resulting into toxicity, resulting into maybe exchanging bad words. So that you're pursuing positive mental capital, you're utilizing your positive mental capital. If your relationship with a large majority of people is positive, if you have cordial relationships with people, if you're able to work in your office and deliver on your key performance indicators, if you're able to have good relationship with your family members, if you're able to contribute to your country in whatever position you are, the cleaner in this NTA is a leader. He's the leader of that mop.
Sure.
If he decides not to mop in the morning, then you come into the office and you have to step through death to get to your office. It's uncomfortable. So one of my MD said something, and I always like to use it as an example. He said, whatever position you occupy, you're a leader in that position. Because you represent the organization at that level. The MD would not come and interface with a customer at each point. So at each point you're interfacing with the customer, you're a leader. And if you have positive mental capital, you're able to put this at the forefront. It becomes a habit for you to put this at the forefront of your dealings with people in whatever capacity you're dealing with them. So this is how you know that you have positive mental capital. If you quarrel with everybody at home, at work, even in the market, right? Even if you have road rage, then you have negative mental capital. You're not coping with normal stresses of life. Now, we're talking about normal stresses of life. When it comes to toxicity or things that has to do with your psychology, even sometimes when it comes to, if you're unable to deal with the normal stresses of life, we would advise that you see a professional. A therapist would be able to take you through, and we do this at Master Coach Hub. So we take individuals through healing and increase their mental capital to actually be able to cope with the normal stresses of life and be beneficial to themselves and the society.
Yes. That's a very good one. And of course, in Nigeria, we will soon go to the ballots, to cast our votes, and new leaders will emerge. What is your words, to them when it comes to talking about building a mental capital?
As a leader in Nigeria, the first thing you should do is to enhance your mental capital to be able to deliver on your mandate. And it takes you to actually commit to this process. It's not enough to enhance, your mental capital in the classroom. It has to translate into delivering on your mandate. Because knowledge, one of my favorite writers, he said something. He said, knowledge is power. Practice is the key to it. So if you have knowledge that you're not actually translating into action, it is not knowledge at all. It is a waste of your time and our resources as a nation.
So, a point to note by our leaders out there, those vying for the political positions. Thank you so much, Aisha. So, to the youth now, what do you have to say? Those that have fresh minds and, of course, have a lot to put into, for their future.
Thank you very much. Our dear youths, you are the leaders of this country now and in the future. Because in whatever position you are right now, you're a leader. And you should be patriotic. We have only one country to call ours, and this is Nigeria, our country. And we are great and will continue to get greater. With all, some of the negative incidences happening around, I want you to ask yourself, how can I be a solution to this? Do not contribute to the problems we already have. Contribute to the peace in our nation. Remember that ecology is wanting the best for yourself, doing the best for yourself, doing the best for your counterparty, the next person, and doing the best for the universe. In this case, you start with your country. Thank you so much for joining us.
All right. Thank you also, Aisha, for joining us and for the useful tips you have given to our leaders out there. The leaders we're talking about is not only political leaders, but leaders at all levels.
Yes.
From the top to the bottom,
yes,
even down to cleaners.
Yes.
Thank you for speaking to all of us.
Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you. Okay. I've been speaking with Aisha Adaviruku, who is the founder, CEO, Master Coach Hope. And it has been on the need to build mental capital, and of course it's beneficial for all of us. The program is Good Morning Abuja. It continues shortly.